warning signs in the fight to contain the coronavirus. Nearly 24 states have now reported increase in COVID-19 cases this week. 7 of those states, including Colorado, Utah, and Arizona, saw their daily infection rates jump 60% over the last week. Let's bring in Dr. Truger. He is an emergency medicine physician in Chicago, joining us today. Dr. Truger, it's good to talk to you. Let's talk about the spike that we have seen. I'm not sure we ever exited the first wave, but this wave in the fall is something we have expected for some time, given the overlap with the flu season. What do you make of this uptick that we have seen in nearly 24 states? And how troubling is that when you compare it to the trajectory of the virus over the last several months?
Well, thank you, Kiko. This is really troubling, but unfortunately, as you said, it's not really unexpected. What we're seeing is, a combination of a number of things. As the weather gets colder, people are going to spend more time inside, and we know that indoors transmission is certainly higher than outdoors or in other places, especially as people spend more time with each other. Additionally, this is hard for all of us. We've been doing this for months, and it's really easy to let things slide. It's really easy for that fatigue to set in, where, do I really need to wear my mask? We've been doing this for so long. Is it time to have my kids do play dates? Is it time to go out to bars? And, just because we're all exhausted from it doesn't mean that it's safe to do it. And, additionally, a lot of states are trying to do things like barge ahead because, they want the economy to rebound. They want to be doing better. But unfortunately, until we get the virus under control, it's not going to be safe to open things up.
That indoor component you talked about, is that what's driving the transmissions right now? When you look at these individual states that have seen a significant spike over the last week, or are we starting to see a change in the virus itself?
It's really hard to know. I'm reluctant as I am to change the virus itself. It almost certainly is driven more by our behaviors and just how we're interacting with each other. There's a number of things. Like I said, there's the fatigue. There's people spending more time inside because of the weather. There's also a lot of things where schools are opening up. Remember that basically for the first 6 months of the virus, everything we had, everything we knew about transmission was based on schools being closed and kids being at home. It's a very different time right now. So as we see, the combination of all these different behaviors, it's all going to be very, very different, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen. I'm hopeful that schools that are opening are doing it safely. Kids are wearing masks. Pod sizes are small. Everyone's doing hand washing, and people are being responsible and pick up and drop off, and more importantly, outside of school. But we really don't know what's going to happen because we haven't had this pandemic with schools open for a while yet.
And Doctor, you're coming to us from Illinois today. Your neighboring state, Indiana, is preparing to enter that final stage of the reopening process this Saturday. So we're talking about full capacity and restaurants, bars, and gyms. Number one, is Indiana in a place to be doing that right now? And as a neighboring state that still has restrictions in place, what's the knock-on effect you're concerned about?
I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert and I know all the different things about the numbers and how to reopen, but looking at the numbers, just simple stuff you can look up online with the reliable information from Johns Hopkins and other places. Their positivity rate is closer to 10% than it is than 5%. It's higher than it is in Chicago. Everyone wants to reopen. Everyone wants to go back to normal. Everyone wants, to have people employed and going to work and have kids in school and doing well. But it really doesn't look like that's going to be safe, and we're going to pay the price for this down the road. And
how do you counter that, though?
It's really tough. The bottom line is there's political reasons and economic reasons why people want to open, but this is very different from normal economic circumstances where there's something like a housing bubble, where it's an economic problems or an economic bubble that's driving an economic downturn. If people can't go to work, if it's not safe for people to go to work, then people can't work. The economy can't rebound. It's the kind of thing. We're doing a little better than we were before. There's still 800 Americans dying every single day. That is unacceptable, and it's just certainly not safe right now for all of us. And you see, you said, as you mentioned, Indiana's a neighboring state. A number of the people I work with every day drive in from Indiana, state lines report us. We're one big country. We're not 50 separate states.
A lot of this, in terms of getting the economy back up and running, is really about confidence among consumers, feeling confident and comfortable going into restaurants, traveling again. And on that front, we heard from United Airlines talking about how they are now looking to offer rapid tests for their Hawaii-bound flights to passengers. Now, the specifics unveiled today, they're talking about $250 for that test itself, but it does give passengers an opportunity to get tested before arriving aboard the plane, and more importantly, for another state, in this case Hawaii, to feel comfortable enough to accept those tourists into their state. Is this the kind of blueprint we're looking for to get travel going again? How effective do you think that can be if the onus is on the passenger to pay for the test?
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of different issues here. Ideally, this is the kind of thing that if it's done well, once we get things largely under control and the prevalence rates are pretty low, this is the kind of thing where it may be safe to travel again someday. This might be part of how we, reopen tourism and start, re-engaging those parts of the economy. But we're pretty far from that being safe. Additionally, as you mentioned, people paying out of pocket, $250, that is not a small amount. Obviously, if you're spending money to be able to fly to Hawaii, that's already selecting people who have some money to do it. But this is the kind of thing we're already seeing in some hardest hit communities that are getting hardest hit. People of color, people of low income, people who can't work from home because they work in the service economy, people who work at restaurants, people who, mop the floors, and these are people who are going to be able to spend $250 to go on vacation. And, whether or not we feel comfortable about it, is only one small part of what's happening with the pandemic. And anything feeling too comfortable when it's not safe to travel is going to be more dangerous for the community and people around us.
And the other question being that, it's not going to be prioritized when there's still not enough tests in place to get everybody tested as well. And Dr. Seth Trigger, good to talk to you. Appreciate your time.
Hey, Mr. Zach Guzman.
Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshua Ba'Shem Rakadash. Salutation to the elders and apostle GMS groups, the ones alike teacher 100% true. Shalom Barakathon to them. And double honors to the elders and apostle GMS groups and ones alike teacher 100% true. Shalom Barakathon to them for their knowledge and edification. And all praise again to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshua Ba'Shem Rakadash. There was a video relating to over a dozen states being affected with the coronavirus, and over 7 of them 60%. And these increased cases of the coronavirus in these states, man. So relating to that second wave is not too far. And I just saw something on the news on the World Health Organization. About 10% of the population is infected relating to this coronavirus. And there was a thing on the coronavirus is a glitch in UK they were talking about. So a lot of things are happening. I'm going to read a few scriptures. I'm going to go to Mark 24 and 20. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. So that relates to circumstances and your circumstances, situations, and your conditions, man. So you pray, if you do have to flight, which is pretty much to flee or get away, you pray it's not in the winter time because it's cold, it's harsh conditions and circumstances, and you're dealing with the elements. And you pray it's not on the Sabbath because relating to custom and traditions that have to be honored respectfully. Let's go to number 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. That relates to the great tribulation, man. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake the days shall be shortened, because other than that there'll be no flesh, you know what I mean? So for the elect's sake, those days are going to be shortened. This relates to these verses are relating to the great tribulation. Go to Jeremiah 30 and 7. Alas, for that day is great, and none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but ye shall be saved out of it. So everybody's going to experience Jacob's trouble, and we the precursors of that, man. These eviction moratoriums, people losing their jobs, homelessness, precursors of famine globally, shortage of food. We in the precursor stages of Jacob's trouble. We in the precursors of that. The shutdown relating to these businesses and establishments in major cities such as New York and different other cities across the country. So we in the precursors of that. Let's go to Mark 13. Mark 13 and 18. And pray ye that your flight be not in the winter. That goes along with Matthew's 24 and 20. In those days shall be affliction, such as was not from the beginning of the creation which Yahweh created until this time, neither shall be. And that relates to great tribulation, And afflictions, we in the pre-affliction time, man, pre-affliction time. Because a lot of things is going on, man. People losing their jobs. We got this, like I said, the eviction moratorium. People are losing their, pretty much be homeless and kicked out of the street. So and these cases, increased cases. Businesses are trying to open up, but these cases are increasing. So in various cities all across the country. So that second wave relating to that second wave is going to happen, man. Now, relating to videos talking about, for example, they were saying the airlines of Hawaii to fly to Hawaii, they want you to take a COVID test. So before you go into Hawaii, so. That's a $250 test. I was talking about in that video, just to fly. To fly in Hawaii, so that state will feel safe with the people coming in there, that they be tested. So this is the precursors of pretty much not be able to move, not able to move freely like you used to. So we can rate that with martial law. A man shall desire to go into one city but not be able to, or even one state. So we in the precursors of that martial law, because it's getting to the point where you might not be able to move freely unless you have certain clearance, such as, for example, testing relating to the COVID virus, so you can be clear to move. And so as far as going to and fro like we used to, the things that we used to be are no longer. The dynamic of this systematically is changing pretty much. Now, this was just a few verses relating to that, because just a few verses relating to that video. So we, like I said, we in the precursors of different things going on. It's not as super serious yet, but the worst will happen here. So what I'm saying is the best will be safe. The best is going to be saved for last, which is here. So the worst is going to happen here when it do happen. But we in the incremental stages for certain things that's happening. That being said, this was something short. Give all praise to Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua B'Shem Rakadash, the water for listening. Shalom, thanks.